Software testing is one of the important aspects of software development. In this interview, I'm talking to one of the expert in software testing who having more than decade years of experience in this domain, and he is sharing his wisdom, his knowledge about how anybody can grow in software testing domain.
I do not have a CS background, but yes, I'm okay. I'm glad that I'm doing okay.
Okay, great, great.
Yeah.
So any non-CS person can make career in IT, especially in software testing, right?
Definitely,
Oh, okay.
definitely. As we say that CS is having an edge
Mhm.
in all the these are all computer science engineerings we are talking about, but testing is
Mhm.
has again, when we say CS, it has an edge, but we can never confine saying that a non-CS guy can never make it into IT industry and
Okay.
cannot sustain.
Right.
You can take many examples are there who are sustained and who are making good.
Right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So CS is not the mandatory tool which we need to get into testing or anything into IT.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, because it's a special skill. I feel your degree, college degree is different, and the special skill which is used in industry is totally different. So it is a very niche kind of a skill that we have to develop. We don't get from our college, from degree. So we have to develop once you come to industry. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
That's correct.
So, Bobby, can you help me understand what is the software testing and why it is required? What is the context about software testing?
So this very word itself says about testing. So when we say we test something, this testing concept starts from the basic from your life. You verify anything in your life. You verify anything. Okay, your mom does some cooking and you just taste it, whether it is having a proper salt, sugar, everything is there. That is testing. So
Right.
you do testing knowingly or unknowingly from your birth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you think rationally in that manner. Okay, when we come up to a particular stage, when we take saying that we are doing software testing, we're into this QAing background, it becomes a very particular line. But the thought process, that rational thinking remains the same. You keep on pushing your boundaries regarding rational thoughts. When I said software testing, that means I'm testing one of the application or the products which is ready to be delivered to the customers. So I need to ensure that this product or this application, which the entire team has put that much of time, effort, money, is going good or not.
Okay.
Whether the customer will like it or not.
Okay.
If you are all aware of this software development life cycle, we say testing is a bigger phase in that.
Right.
Reason is there are a gang of people who gather the requirement. There is a gang of people who analyze on those requirements. There is again a gang of people who develop. They put their bread, blood, sweat, everything, and they develop that product. But software testing is the gatekeeper.
Right.
They ensure that all these efforts, what has been done during this phase of time, is worthy. And the QAs or the testers are responsible in delivering that. They ensure that my so and so colleague has developed this, my so and so colleague has gathered this requirement, whether they're matching or not. No offense to anyone, they do it. But one additional thing which you do in testing is you ensure that it works in every abrupt scenarios.
Okay.
You
So,
think about.
Yeah, so the tester job is to ensure that the product that your team has developed, is going to behave correctly, or it is going to behave the right way that is supposed to behave in the customer, right? When any customer is going to use that product, so how it is going to behave, whether it's going to behave according to the way we have developed, or it is misbehaving. So those kind of test has a job or responsibility by the Q, right? So you have the, I think you guys have a tester has a great responsibility, in my understanding, to make sure that everything going fine. Okay, whatever the team has supposed to do, that this should behave like this, and when it's come to in customer hand, so customers should feel good about the product. Okay, it's behaving the right way. I think that's a main purpose or main job, you can say. And I feel that's a critical job, one of the critical job of software testing, right?
Yes, it is. It is.
Yeah.
So think from a perspective that you are a linking agent between your
Mhm.
development or someone who is in the background and from the customer.
Mhm.
That's why we are termed as gatekeepers.
Gatekeeper, right? Yeah, that's a great term. Yeah. So, Bhapi, can you can you tell me about what kind of different kind of testing is done in perform in software in this field? Because but what I know that there are different types of testing you can perform. There are different process how to test the application. So, can you help us to understand how different types of testing are there you can perform on the product?
Sure, I would like to share some light on that.
Mhm.
When we say about software testing, there can be a number of terms which has evolved during the phase of time, but how I would say is uh, we can define it in two different mechanisms.
Mhm.
One, when we say testing, we have to think from two aspects whether I'm doing a functional level of testing or the non functional level of testing.
Okay. Mhm.
In functional, I define that uh, my so and so requirement is meeting with this need here from this application. My functionality is working good or not. The behavior is working good or not.
Mhm.
Whatever is needed, is that delivering or not?
Mhm.
If my navigation is properly working or not. For
Mhm.
example, giving smaller example, 5
Mhm.
plus 3 should behave as 8. It should
Right.
not behave as 9.
Right.
It should not behave as minus 2. So
Mhm.
that is my functional level of verification.
Okay.
When I
Okay.
say 5 plus 3, I need to ensure that I am putting 5 dots and then gathering 3 dots, it makes 8. So I
Mhm.
calculate all those dots, it makes 8. So these
Mhm.
are functional level of testing. When I say
Okay.
non-functional testing, which happens in the background, they are
Mhm.
more like of a performance level of testing.
Okay.
Okay, so anyways, it stays in the background, but it
Mhm.
is one of your critical aspects of testing. So in
Mhm.
broader sense, we can say functional testing and non-functional testing.
Okay. So yeah, so what I came to know that there are a lot of testing are involved,
Yes,
functional testing, non-functional system, browser. You have to check whether it's working well in different time zone, different browser.
correct.
So there are a lot of process, a lot of testing are involved in this process. That's great.
Yes,
Yeah. So Bhapi, can you let me understand that? Let's suppose I'm fresher, okay, any college graduate or any just a written just a BTech. So what can be the roadmap to make a career in, especially in software testing field? What skill set he has to acquire, and what kind of technology he has to acquire? What can be the roadmap going forward so that he can make career in, especially in software testing? So can you please tell us about the roadmap for any fresher or any person who want to make career in this software testing?
yeah, that's a good one for any career developing guys. So first thing is that your motivation towards testing. What do you
Mhm.
really think about testing?
Mhm.
Testing, it's a myth that everyone can do testing. It's a
Oh,
myth.
okay. Mhm.
Okay. I'm not saying that any particular designated person should do,
Mhm.
but once you are thinking about taking testing into your as your career, you
Mhm.
have to start broadening your thought. You have
Okay.
to think rationally. If A is working like A,
Mhm.
should A only work should like A? Can't there be a position of B?
So this is about mindset, right? This is about
Yes,
perspective.
you
Okay.
have to think rationally on that basis. But if I speak about career options,
Mhm.
yes, there is no hindrance which will stop you to go into this line. There is
Mhm.
no hindrance. You
Mhm.
need to learn few things. For
Mhm.
example, you should be, as the market is growing gradually, you should keep yourself updated into the agile model.
Mhm.
You should know how Scrum behaves.
Mhm.
What is your tentativeness towards giving a delivery? You need to think from that perspective.
Okay.
Concise your work.
Mhm.
It's all human behavioral. You do not have to learn anything specific. But
Mhm.
yes, if you want to give it a go, your career towards automation,
Mhm.
because there is a scope of automation nowadays booming around.
Mhm.
If you want to give that a go, you need to learn at least one coding
Coding. Okay.
language,
Mhm.
whether it comes with Python, whether it
Mhm.
comes from Java using Selenium. You
Mhm.
need to learn that. You
Okay.
know, Very basic. Once you get into the application, you learn that application, you will definitely niche it.
Mhm.
Yes, so that's an added advantage. But if I
Mhm.
talk only about manual testing,
Mhm.
career is there. You can go ahead, learn these things.
So you were saying there are two kinds of testing. One is a manual, one is the
Yes,
automation. And nowadays, automation is growing very fast rate,
correct.
and there are a lot of demands in the industry for automation engineer, right? Automation software engineer.
If you have an additional advantage of automating, you have a coding background, that
Mhm.
gives you an edge yourself.
Okay. So this
Okay.
is my next
Now,
question, Papi.
okay.
That interesting. I have heard that you need to know at least one programming language like Python, Java, as you told right now. So how this language knowledge will help you in growing in this field? Let's suppose you know any language like Python, Java, then how it will help you in your career, and why any language knowledge is so important in software testing. So can you please tell me about those language aspect, why it is important?
As I was saying, manual testing is one approach of validating one particular application. There is another application approach is called
Mhm.
automation, which
Okay.
involves a coding language to be learned. When
Mhm.
you say about Python, you talk about Java, Selenium.
Mhm.
One coding language is needed. Reason
Okay.
being is that if you code something, you automate that application, how it behaves,
Mhm.
your validation, the manual test cases. Let's say you have jotted down 60 use cases.
Mhm.
Now, if you automate them, you took you took around some time, and the
Mhm.
repetition of work is always there. You keep on evolving your application, so
Okay.
you need not have to do or spend the same amount of time which you have spent manually. You do
Mhm.
it in automation. You
Mhm.
save your time, you
Mhm.
save your effort.
Mhm.
Ultimately, look at the bigger picture. You save
Mhm.
your times, the total
Right.
team's effort also.
Right. It
It's
is
needed.
so it is like a robot, right? It's just like a kind of AI kind of thing, right?
Yes,
So
it is.
it can see it can capture the uncaptured bug also, right?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. So this is one of the reason why automation is needed now. You save your time, you save your effort, you
Mhm.
help other team members to provide this automation test scripts so that
Mhm.
they can run, catch the bugs initial phase of time.
Mhm.
Towards end of the day, this market is going towards a shift left approach
Mhm.
where you target some time and you always focus that my time of delivery should be saved. You do not want to go ahead of that milestone. So
Mhm.
automation definitely helps in that aspect.
Mhm.
Automation should be taken seriously as a career
Oh,
with
okay.
with
Okay.
with current market evolving.
Mhm.
Okay, so yeah.
So, Papi, as you told in the beginning that you are from non-CS background, you have made the career in IT. So, what can be the advice for non-IT people? Like I have seen many people from mechanical, electrical, simple graduate as well. They are making career in IT, in software testing, especially in software testing. So, what can be your advice that how they can? Let's suppose I'm a electrical engineer, okay, from my college, and I'm willing to make career in software testing, then what can be my approach? What can be the roadmap ahead for me so that I can pick up this skill, I can pick up this niche in industry. So what can be your advice? How non-IT people can make career in this field? Because I know that you have already made that. So you're also from non-IT background. You told that. So what can be your advice for those guys, those people?
Yeah. One thing what I would say here is for getting into this IT market or a software industry, working into a QAing domain or a software testing domain,
Mhm.
engineering is just a qualification.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Your branch or the branch which you have learned,
Mhm.
electrical, mechanical, civil, chemical, no,
Mhm.
all non-CS we are talking about,
Mhm.
it's just a point
Mhm.
or it's just a requirement. It has really nothing to do with
To
your corporate sector job when you
right,
talk about testing. It is a need.
right.
It's unless you are a graduate, you
Mhm.
can't come into this market. This is a
Mhm.
need of the market.
Right.
And that need is because by the time you graduate, your brain opens up. You think,
Mhm.
you start thinking rationally.
Mhm.
But for testing, you just need to have a graduation or a graduate background,
Mhm.
and then you can start off with your career from testing background.
Okay.
Learn, grow your habit of why testing is needed, what
Mhm.
the application is demanding from you. More often, thought process, nothing else. You have to increase your thought process, start talking with your colleagues or your friends, think rationally, things around you, and learn a language.
Okay. So you're saying that college degree is not important. You can have any college degree, any technical degree, but
Yes.
when you come into industry, it's a kind of niche kind of skill set, right? You have to develop this skill set, your mentality, your skill set. So your college degree is not going to stop you from making career in this field, right?
Yes, definitely.
What I feel that in especially in case of software testing, you should be very good in business. Like what is the business requirement? What is the business demand? So you should be very close toward the business, right? Because your product is going to behave whatever the developer team they have developed the product, it should align with the business requirement. So as a
Yes.
QA person, what I feel that you should be very good in business understanding what is the business, what is the requirement, so that you can judge, you can make sure that your product is behaving according to the requirement, according to the business needs. So this is I think this is the fundamental, I think this is one of the important aspect of software testing. The people who is going to make it in testing, he has to, over the time, he has to grow as a business person. He has to understand about the business requirement. And he has to think not only from the technical perspective, I think he has to think from the business perspective as well, right?
Yes.
If I'm not wrong.
Yes, yes. That's right. That's right. So when you start thinking from your business perspective, you definitely broaden your thought process. You start thinking yourself as a customer. So you play a dual role where you talk from a developer's perspective, saying that okay, I have developed so and so things, or my team has developed so and so things. I'm trying to deliver this thing. And the other thing is that why I am delivering this product.
Right.
What is the customer need that I am delivering this product? So you play a dual role from the business aspect also.
Okay.
So the moment you start thinking from business, it gives you an edge over the product. You learn more about the product and gradually you grow. When you grow, you definitely will be more eager to know business.
So, Bapi, this is my last question. So, I know you have a tremendous experience in this field, in this industry for doing for a long time. So, can you please share your advice that if somebody want to grow in this industry, in especially in software testing industry, in this micro niche, then how a person can grow? What can be your advice those people who want to grow exponentially in this field? So what skill set, what knowledge, what can be the roadmap ahead to grow in this field? So what are your final thought on this?
Yeah, if you have started from a testing background, and by the time you have learned agile, you need to learn agile definitely, because the market is moving towards that, and
Agile.
almost 90-95% market has moved. Agile is one thing. You can do a certification if you need. You can learn agile in a deep dive manner. The next perspective is to, as I mentioned, we kept on talking on this. That is learning a language. Language is a must.
Okay.
You have to learn a language. See, you can sustain, you can continue as a manual tester, but why not push yourself? Right? Language, you learn it, it will help you increase your edge. So your roadmap will be becoming more smoother. So and gradually you think from a business. So business analysts are kind of more occupied in this market. So you will become an amalgamation of both QA and a business analyst. You will be called as a technical BA. So you have your coding background. You think from a business, so you can grow from there. So business analyst, and you kept on increasing your thought process. You become a solution manager. No doubt about that.
Okay. So this is the path, like from starting from software testing, you have some technical knowledge. So from tester, you can become business analyst. From the business analyst, you can become solution manager. And this way you can keep on growing on the top, right? So this is the hierarchy, this is the ladder of growth.
The most important thing is how much strongly you are gripping your application, or how strongly you are gripping your product which you want to deliver. Domain, basically.
Domain, okay.
See, now there are multiple domains. You cannot be expert in each and every domain, but if you are working in one domain, you get an expert on that. If you are into retail, if you are into a finance, learn as much as possible.
Yeah, you cannot be expert in all domains, right?
Yes, that's
You
right.
can know each domain, different domain, but you have to be expert in one particular domain.
Correct.
So yeah, going forward, you have to decide that, okay, this is my domain, this is my interest area, this is the way I think, and I'm aligned to this domain. So yeah, domain knowledge is pretty important. Your technical knowledge, your language knowledge, the way the product behaves, your business knowledge, and ultimately you are aligned with a domain. So your domain knowledge is going to I can say, it's going to pay dividend in rest of your life in career.
Yes.
Okay. So thanks, Bapi, for your time and this all information to share with me and the audience to how to make career in testing and what are the skill set, what are the roadmap, and how can you grow in the testing field. So this was a great understanding, great knowledge sharing. So, so one more time, thank for your time and giving me time for this interview. Okay, thanks, Bapi.